I'm good. I wanted to ask you follow up to a couple of questions Juliet Papa asked yesterday. Um, you've, over the past few months, you put, and arguably longer than that, a lot of emphasis on mental health and trauma-informed care. Yet, yesterday when Juliet asked you about New Yorkers living in fear over violence in the city, you said that you didn't think that was what's going on. We interviewed some people yesterday who said, that is going on, that they do live in fear. And so, I mean, my question is, we talked to the family of this 5-year-old girl who got shot in the head. She got a grazed by a bullet in East New York. I mean, how can you say that people aren't living in fear when a 5-year-old child is shot? I mean, on top of it all, I mean, we have the pandemic going on, and I mean, I just talked to a neighbor yesterday whose daughter is afraid to go back to school because of the virus. So I'm just wondering if you could kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Sure. I appreciate the question, Michael. First of all, it was horrible what happened to that little 5-year-old, and thank God she's going to be okay. But look, there are places where there's too much violence, and we are going to deal with it. We have to, and there's clearly a lot of anxiety about COVID. We've been talking about that now for over a year, and talking about the mental health support we need to provide to families and provide to children coming back to school. I think we've talked a lot about this and moved a lot of effort and resources to address the mental health challenges. What I was saying, Michael, and I appreciate the opportunity to clarify, is New Yorkers, yeah, we have a lot of challenges we have to overcome, but we overcome them. We went through a horrible, perfect storm last year. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong at once, whether it was the pandemic, the violence, people losing their jobs, schools being closed, and New Yorkers fought through it. So is there anxiety? Of course. Is there fear? Yes. I'm not saying there's not any. I'm saying New Yorkers don't get intimidated. We fight back. And the comeback you're seeing this year is obvious and powerful. But we're going to address all of these issues. The mental health needs of families and kids, the shootings. We're getting out there with more and more gun arrests by the NYPD and more cooperation with community and police together and more cure violence and crisis management system, and we will turn it around. Go ahead, Michael.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Switching gears here, I wanted to ask you about a story that came out in the city today about Maya Wiley's involvement with vetting Campaign for One New York fundraisers. And in this story, she says that her advice as far as keeping the administration within the ethical boundaries for Coney fundraising was not always followed. The story also touches on contradictory statements you and she made that were cited in a DOI report a few years back. Can you address that? I mean, she's saying advice was not always followed. Is that true?
Michael, we've talked about this so many times. I'm going to keep it real simple. She and other lawyers worked hard to make sure that everything was handled properly. Everyone on the team, myself included, worked hard to implement all guidance properly. All of this was looked at. I think it's quite clear that it's been addressed, and we're just moving forward.
The next is